Chapter 1. The Silent Yogi and the Princess. Long ago, before the world became busy and full of noise, there lived a powerful being named Shiva. He did not live in a palace and he did not care about wealth or status. He lived far away in the cold mountains of Kailash, where everything was quiet and still. Shiva spent most of his time in deep meditation. He had no interest in relationships, no desire for comfort, and no attachment to anything in the world. People both feared him and respected him because he was calm but also very powerful. At the same time, in a grand palace, there lived a king named Daksha. He was very proud of his power and believed strongly in rules, order, and respect. Daksha had a daughter named Sati. From a young age, Sati was gentle, kind, and deeply thoughtful. She was not like other children. She often sat quietly and looked at the sky, as if she was thinking about something very deep. As Sati grew older, she began to feel a strange connection to someone she had never seen. Whenever she heard the name Shiva, her heart felt calm and peaceful. She did not understand why she felt this way, but the feeling was strong and real. It was not just curiosity, it felt like her soul already knew him. This was the beginning of a love that was very different from normal love. It was quiet, deep, and beyond simple attraction. Chapter 2. A Love Without Meeting. Sati had never met Shiva, but she started thinking about him more and more. She began to meditate and imagine him in her mind. Every day she felt closer to him, even though he was far away in the mountains. Her love was not loud or emotional. It was calm and steady, like a slow river that never stops flowing. However, her father Daksha did not like Shiva at all. He believed Shiva was strange and unfit for a princess. In his eyes, Shiva had no manners, no royal lifestyle, and no respect for social rules. Daksha wanted Sati to marry a king or a prince who matched their royal status. He could not accept the idea that his daughter would choose someone like Shiva. But Sati's feelings did not change. The more she thought about Shiva, the stronger her love became. She did not argue with her father. She did not try to convince anyone. Instead, she decided to follow her heart quietly. This shows an important truth. Real love does not always fight loudly. Sometimes it grows silently and becomes stronger over time. Chapter 3. The Decision That Changed Everything. One day, Sati made a life-changing decision. She decided that she would not wait for things to happen. Instead, she would take action. She left her palace, her comfort, and her royal life behind. She went into the forest alone with a strong purpose in her heart. In the forest, Sati began a deep spiritual practice called tapasya, which means intense meditation and discipline. She stopped caring about comfort. She ate very little food and spent long hours in meditation. Her body became weak, but her mind and spirit became stronger. Every moment she focused only on Shiva. Days passed, then months, and then years. Her dedication did not break. Even the gods started to notice her strong devotion. This was not ordinary love anymore. It had become something pure and powerful. It had become devotion. Far away in the mountains, Shiva continued his meditation, but slowly he began to feel something unusual. It was not a sound or a call, it was a feeling. It was Sati's deep and honest devotion reaching him. Chapter 4. when Shiva finally opened his eyes. Far away in the silent mountains of Kailash, Shiva was still sitting in deep meditation. Time did not matter to him. Days and years passed in the same way. He was completely still, completely peaceful, and completely detached from the world. Nothing disturbed him, and nothing pulled him out of his meditation. But slowly, something began to change. Shiva started to feel a presence. It was not noise, and it was not a physical touch. It was something deeper. It was a feeling of pure devotion. It was calm, steady, and very powerful. This feeling was coming from Sati. Her years of tapasya had created a strong connection that even Shiva could not ignore. For the first time in a long time, Shiva slowly opened his eyes. This moment was very important because Shiva did not open his eyes without a reason. When he did, it meant something powerful had reached him. He closed his eyes again and tried to understand this feeling. He realized that someone in the world was thinking about him with complete honesty and pure intention. Shiva decided to see who this person was. He appeared before Sati, but not in his true divine form. Instead, he came in a simple form to test her. He wanted to know if her devotion was real or just a temporary emotion. When Sati saw him, she felt a deep peace. Even though he was not in his divine form, her heart recognized him. Shiva asked her a simple question. He asked why she wanted to marry Shiva, a man who had no interest in the world. Sati did not speak about beauty, power, or status. She spoke calmly and honestly. She said that her soul felt connected to Shiva and that this connection was beyond logic or reason. Shiva understood her truth. He realized that her devotion was not weak or temporary. It was strong and real. In that moment, Shiva accepted her love. This was the moment when a yogi who needed nothing accepted someone into his life. Chapter 5. The Divine Marriage. When Shiva accepted Sati, the balance of the universe began to change. The gods were happy because they knew that this union was important. It was not just a marriage between two individuals. It was a union of two powerful energies. The marriage of Shiva and Sati was celebrated in a grand way. Gods, sages, and celestial beings gathered to witness this special event. The mountains, the rivers, and even nature seemed to celebrate this union. However, one person was not happy. King Daksha did not accept this marriage. He felt insulted and angry. In his mind, Shiva was not worthy of his daughter. He could not understand Sati's choice. His pride did not allow him to see the truth. Even though Daksha did not support this marriage, Sati was happy. She had found what her heart was looking for. Shiva and Sati began their life together on Mount Kailash. Their life was simple, peaceful, and very different from royal life. Sati adapted to Shiva's world. She lived in nature, away from luxury and comfort, but she did not feel any loss. For her, being with Shiva was more important than anything else. Their relationship was not based on material things. It was based on understanding, respect, and deep spiritual connection. Chapter 6. Peace before the storm. Life on Kailash was calm and peaceful. Sati was happy living with Shiva. She learned to enjoy a simple life. There were no royal comforts, no grand celebrations, and no strict rules. Instead, there was silence, meditation, and freedom. Shiva also changed in his own way. Even though he remained detached from the world, he began to accept Sati's presence. He respected her devotion and understood her feelings. Their relationship grew slowly and naturally. It was not based on desire, but on deep connection. However, far away from Kailash, King Daksha was still angry. His pride had not reduced, instead it had grown stronger. He could not forget that his daughter had married someone he did not respect. This anger slowly turned into ego. One day, Daksha decided to organize a grand yajna, a sacred ritual. He invited many gods, sages, and important beings. It was meant to be a great event that showed his power and importance. However, he made one important decision. He decided not to invite Shiva. This decision was not a simple mistake, it was intentional. Daksha wanted to show that he did not accept Shiva. He wanted to insult him publicly. This decision would soon create a serious problem. Sati came to know about this yajna. She heard that all gods and relatives were invited, but Shiva was not invited. She felt confused and hurt. She could not understand how her father could ignore her husband in such a public way. Chapter 7. The Painful Decision. When Sati heard about the yajna, she felt a strong desire to go there. It was her father's house, and she wanted to attend the event. Even though Shiva was not invited, she believed that as a daughter, she had the right to go. She spoke to Shiva about it. Shiva listened calmly. He understood her feelings, but he also saw the situation clearly. He told Sati that going there might bring pain. He explained that where there is no respect, there should be no presence. Shiva did not stop her forcefully. He simply advised her with wisdom. He said that a place where your loved ones are insulted is not a place of honor. His words were calm, but they were full of meaning. Sati was now in a difficult situation. On one side was her husband, who spoke with wisdom and clarity. On the other side was her father's home, where she had grown up. Her heart was divided between emotion and understanding. Finally, she made a decision. She decided to go to the yajna. She believed that maybe her father would understand her feelings. She hoped that things could be resolved peacefully. But sometimes hope does not match reality, and sometimes one decision can change everything. Chapter 8. The Yagya of Ego. When Sati reached the place of the yajna, she saw a grand and beautiful arrangement. Many gods, sages, and respected beings were present there. The atmosphere looked sacred, and everything seemed perfect from the outside. But inside, something was missing. There was no warmth for her. Some people looked at her with surprise. Some looked away. No one welcomed her with respect. This was not how a daughter should be treated in her own house. Still, Sati remained calm and walked forward. When King Daksha saw her, he did not show happiness. His face was cold and filled with pride. He did not stand up. He did not greet her. Instead, he spoke in a sharp and disrespectful tone. He began to insult Shiva. He called him strange, wild, and unworthy. He mocked his way of living. He spoke as if Shiva was not a great being, but someone below him. Every word was filled with ego. Sati stood there in silence. Each word hurt her deeply. She was not hurt for herself. She was hurt because her husband was being insulted in front of everyone. She realized that Shiva was right. This was not a place of respect. The sacred fire of the yajna was burning in front of her, but now it did not feel pure. It felt like a fire of ego, not a fire of devotion. Chapter 9. The Breaking Point. At that moment, something inside Sati changed. Her silence turned into strength. She stepped forward and spoke with calm but powerful words. She said that Shiva is not what Daksha thinks. She explained that Shiva is beyond status, beyond rules, and beyond pride. She said that people who understand truth respect Shiva, even if they do not understand him. Sati then looked at her father and spoke about ego. She said that pride can make a person blind. It can make a person forget what is right and what is wrong. She explained that true greatness comes from humility, not from power. But Daksha did not listen. His ego was too strong. He continued to speak with disrespect. At that moment, Sati understood something very clearly. She realized that this was not her home anymore. A place where her husband was insulted could never be her home. She felt deep pain, but also deep clarity. She could not accept this insult. She could not stand there and watch it continue. Chapter 10. The Sacrifice of Sati. Standing in front of the sacred fire, Sati made a final decision. It was not a decision of anger. It was a decision of dignity. She said that she could not keep a body that was given by someone who insults her husband. She said that she would leave this body and end her connection with this insult. Everyone around her became silent. No one expected what was about to happen. With a calm mind and strong heart, Sati sat near the fire. She closed her eyes and focused deeply. Through her spiritual power, she gave up her life. The fire of the yajna became the witness of her sacrifice. This moment was not just sad, it was powerful and painful at the same time. It showed the depth of her love and the strength of her self-respect. The entire place became silent. The air felt heavy. Something very serious had happened. Chapter 11. Shiva's Grief and Anger. Far away on Mount Kailash, Shiva suddenly felt a deep disturbance. He opened his eyes and understood everything in a single moment. He knew what had happened to Sati. For the first time, Shiva felt deep pain. This was not ordinary sadness, it was a powerful emotional shock. The calm and silent yogi was now filled with grief. His grief slowly turned into anger. But this anger was not small or simple, it was intense and unstoppable. From his energy, a powerful being appeared, known as Veerabhadra. Shiva gave him a command to destroy the yajna and punish Daksha. This was not just revenge, it was a response to injustice and disrespect. Veerabhadra reached the yajna with great force. The entire place was shaken. The peaceful event turned into chaos. Daksha's pride could not protect him anymore. Chapter 12. The End of Ego and a New Beginning. The yajna was destroyed. King Daksha faced the result of his ego. His pride, which once made him feel powerful, now brought him downfall. After this destruction, the gods realized that balance was necessary. They prayed to Shiva to calm down. Slowly, Shiva's anger reduced. His pain, however, remained. Shiva forgave Daksha. This shows an important truth. Even after deep pain, true strength is shown in forgiveness. But Shiva did not return to normal life. He carried Sati's memory with him. He returned to silence, but now his silence had pain inside it. Sati's story did not truly end here. It was only a transformation. Her soul would return again as Parvati, and the story of Shiva and Parvati would begin. But the story of Shiva and Sati remains special. It was the first great love story of the universe. It was not just about love, it was about devotion, respect, ego, and sacrifice. This story teaches us that true love is not only about happiness. Sometimes it is about strength, dignity, and truth. And most importantly, it teaches us that love without respect cannot survive.